Joke for our 4x3 viewers. Joining me from New York City to help us make sense of it all, editor-in-chief from Engadget.com, Joshua Topolsky is back in the old hot seat. How are you, Joshua?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let me see the glowing palms. You've had your hands on the Verizon iPhone, correct? You've been endowed with the power of 1 million users.
Just hanging out with it.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
You guys have just been spending the day together, hanging out at the park, or
just
getting some
froyo? Yeah, taking walks, getting some lunch. No big deal.
Well, now that you've gotten to know each other a little bit more, how different is she than the old AT&T mistress?
Just exactly the same in every way, pretty much. Not, except it's really good at making calls, so you can make phone calls.
So it's markedly different then.
I mean, there's one major difference, and it is a lot better at holding on to a phone call if you're into that.
Right. I think most people are. But what about the data side of things? Because I think what people have been saying is, hey, look, Verizon's network way better for calls. We get that. It's not going to drop. Quality is going to be better pretty much across the board. But on the data side of things, it's not going to be as fast as AT&T. Is that true?
Yeah, it's really true. I mean, AT&T is way faster, at least in my testing, and most people tell you the same thing. AT&T is way faster, but Verizon seems more consistent to me in terms of data rates. So it is a trade-off, though. If you're streaming stuff, I mean, there's a difference between what you get on AT&T and what you get on Verizon. Now,
with regard to Verizon's amazing announcement today of throttling traffic to users who use an extraordinary amount of data, I mean, I know it's the top 5%, but first of all, can we just take a second and laugh at the timing of that announcement, that they would do that on the eve of a giant release? I mean, are you concerned at all that you might be a power user and might get dinged and throttled for months on end?
Well, I'm doing a lot of BitTorrent downloads on my phone, so that could be an issue for me.
Good.
I mean, honestly, I think top 5%. I'm probably not in the top 5%, and I'm a huge nerd, so it's probably not a concern for most people. But it is a bit of a downer to be told that your unlimited plan is actually going to get kind of crappy if you expect to use it in an unlimited fashion.
Right. What about the personal hotspot feature? Because I know that was one of Verizon's big wins over AT&T, that you can turn your phone into a hotspot and then offer internet connectivity to a couple devices in your area.
Yeah, it works great. The only issue with it is that if you get a phone call and you're browsing on your computer and using your hotspot, it kills your internet connection, and you've got to either refuse the call or take the call, and then it'll resume. So if you're thinking about using it for phone calls and hotspot, it's sort of not really going to work out for you.
Really? There's no option to toggle that to say, hey, give the hotspot precedent over the phone call capability?
No option. Not right now.
So at the next Apple event, if I know someone has a Verizon iPhone, I can totally grief them and ruin their live blog coverage just by calling them?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
If you know that they're using it as a hotspot. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
You can.
All right, Joshua, let's do the million-dollar
cool
question here that everybody's asking. It's really a two-parter. One, if I've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for an iPhone, do I hop in now and go AT&T, or do I go Verizon? And the second part is, if I already have AT&T, do I make the switch?
I think if you really need to make phone calls consistently, you should probably switch. I mean, I'm not sure everybody has the same exact problem, but if you're really into calls, you should switch. But, and this is the answer to the other question, I mean, we're a few months away from the iPhone 5, most likely. We're going to see it in June or July. So if you've held out this long, I would say keep holding out. And if you're thinking about switching, you can stand it for a little bit longer. I'd wait and see what the iPhone 5 is like before you decide to get into a new contract.
All those unhappily unsatisfied AT&T customers just grip their iPhones in anger. And all right, fine, a couple more months, but no more bruises around the eyes.
Yeah,
Joshua Topolsky from Engadget, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you for keeping us in the loop. Now let's go over to